This week on the Untold Stories of Nehemiah. Now when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arab and the rest of Israel's enemies heard that Nehemiah had built the wall, they intended to do Nehemiah harm. They met at a local connection center to discuss their diabolical plan.
So I suppose Jerusalem's king has returned, King Nehemiah, and will not be lectured by a Babylonian cupbearer. I say it's high time we put an end to this self-righteous tyranny.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. My mom made pizzelles. My mom always says, don't try to plot an evil scheme on an empty stomach.
Did your mom actually say, don't try to plot an evil scheme on an empty stomach?
Listen guys, if you don't mind, as I was previously saying, Geshem, right, we need to put an end to Nehemiah's self-righteous tyranny.
Interrupt. You're not going to believe this. I'm on YouTube. It's a cat riding a bike. Can you believe that? What can't a cat do these days? My mom always says, when you're plotting an evil scheme, a cat catches your tongue. Right? You've heard that in Arabic proverb.
Okay, does anyone else think that seems oddly specific?
Geshem, please, I was trying to make a point, right? Let's focus here, right?
I'm going to lock it. Swallow it. Not going to hear another word.
So you locked it and then you swallowed the key?
Oh.
And how? But you locked it first.
Okay, sorry.
Your mouth was locked.
Ooh.
So you ate the key and then you used it.
Gentlemen.
Okay.
Now's the time
Absolutely.
to end the reign of King Nehemiah's tyranny, right?
Okay,
Do we have any ideas? Any ideas? Any other ideas? All right, Geshem.
Okay. Nehemiah has destroyed our way of life, right? He continually rejected our demands, right?
Yeah.
I think the time for talk is over.
Yeah.
I think I speak for everyone when I say it's time to respond not with words,
Yeah.
but with dance. Picture this. Opening scene, lights come up. It's a satirical musical. I'm dressed like a mermaid.
Listen. Wait. We have to act now, right? We need to lure Nehemiah into the temple.
Wait a second, I'm going to stop you there because
acting.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. We lure him to the temple and we challenge him to a sing-off. My mom always says, a bird in the hand, you look like a pirate, but a show tune's how you overthrow a foreign dignitary.
Say that.
That's a famous one. Come on, you've heard that one.
Wait, we're bringing him into the temple to kill him, Geshem.
Kill him?
Yeah, that's why we're bringing him in, to kill him. Not a sting-off.
Okay. So that's an idea. We could kill him. Or, and I'm just spitballing here, what if we hit him with a major, and I mean major, leaflet campaign? Come on, guys. Think about it. Eat a piecel and think about it.
Oppose the wall of Nehemiah. Yeah.
Romans 5:3-4 says, not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. I'm not a fan of suffering. Nobody is a fan of suffering. But notice how the Bible views our sufferings. Suffering leads to perseverance, which leads to character, which leads to hope. God is able to use even our suffering to produce something beautiful like hope. Not only that, but this verse reminds us to endure hardships because we have hope. This verse reminds us our hope is worth fighting for. Nehemiah dealt with some violent opposition. What began as discouraging joking eventually led to an assassination attempt. But Nehemiah's resolve never wanes. He persevered despite the opposition. As believers, we are constantly under attack. We are under attack from the devil and his demons. We face opposition from the world and its ideology, and we wrestle with the flesh and its desires. In Nehemiah 4, we read that the Jews are halfway finished with the wall, but their strength is being tested. They are halfway there, but they survey the rubble and they begin to lose heart. They are halfway there, but they look at all the rubble and they say, there's no way that we can finish this. This is an attack from within. This is no doubt also a spiritual attack. The people of Judah are losing heart. The Jews are overwhelmed by the rubble, and they are literally sifting through the heaps of rubble. These piles are reminders of their previous failures, and as they survey the rubble, they are just losing hope. But on top of that, Nehemiah's enemies are no longer just hurling insults. They are now planning to attack. Nehemiah is not about to give in to these attacks, from within or from his enemy. He rallies his people with this great line in chapter 4, verse 14. Don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord who is great and awesome and fights for your family and your sons and your daughters and your wives and your homes. Nehemiah deputizes these wall builders. Now they are soldiers. They return to their work, each to their own work, but he brings them all into the city and he organizes the construction crews into one big fighting regiment. When one is in need, they sound a trumpet and everyone is to run to the aid. He rallies the troops and reminds them that they are not alone and they are not helpless. God is on their side. He encourages these new troops in verse 20, our God will fight for us. We need to realize as Christians that we have desires and forces that are working against us every day. We are under attack from the spiritual realm and the physical realm, and we are under attack from within, from our desires and our passions. Sometimes when we look out over the rubble in our lives, the mess our sins have caused, we are discouraged. We can't let this stall us out. God has a vision for our lives. We are here for a reason, so we cannot let the enemy discourage us. We have to resist him. Hebrews 12:1 says this, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings to us so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured from sinners such hostility against himself, so that you may now not grow weary and not grow faint-hearted. God does have greater things in store for our church and our community and our world. What is holding you back? What battles are you fighting right now? You are not alone in this. God will fight for you, and your church family loves you. We will all undoubtedly face trials, but we do not suffer without hope. We have a hope that is worth fighting for. We can throw off the rubble that is holding us back, and we can run our race with endurance by fixing our eyes on Jesus, allowing him to guide us, correct us, and lead us. We will resist the enemy, and not just for ourselves, but we will fight for our families and for our neighborhoods. We are confident that God will fight for us and the enemy will flee.
My journey, a lot of it has to do with perseverance and really not giving up. I remember years ago, people would call me, say, Jason's like a cockroach. You just step on him, he doesn't die. I mean, it sounds insulting in some respects, but it was for me sort of a badge of honor that it's true. No matter what happened, I would try to overcome the issue that I was facing. Grew up in Milton Hershey School, which is a school for kids from broken homes. Back in the 1980s, and I lived there from the day my grandparents dropped me off. I didn't have a mom. I had a mom. She was mentally ill, and I thought my dad was dead. So we were living in welfare, and I didn't have anything. And they decided to send me down to this Milton Hershey school. I could remember it was September 20th, 1980, and I remember it was a fall day. It was crisp out, beautiful day, fall day. And I remember being dropped off at that school and just being left with no family and living with 16 boys in a home, and being down and just being sad about my situation. And I cried. I can remember crying almost every night for a long time. I ran away once. I learned how to navigate that school. I learned how to follow the rules and persevere through that. I graduated there in 1987, suitcase of clothes, $100, sat on the curb, wasn't sure where I was going in life. I had no direction. I had no father figure to guide me. I was not a Christian at the time. I was just a lost soul. Got into a lot of trouble. Eventually I lived out of my car because the girlfriend and I broke up, lived in the car, and I was pretty much broke and not really wanting to live. I recall when I came to Christ, I was sitting in a bathtub and 40 pounds lighter than I am today, maybe 50. And serious tinnitus going on, major spinal surgeries, $80,000 in debt, medical bills. And I just prayed that Jesus would come into my life, and if there was a reason for me to be alive, that he would show it to me. And sure enough, he did. Married to a wonderful woman, Susan, and we have two adoptive daughters, Marigold and Danielle. 5 and 8 now, and I have a foster boy. His name is Jeremiah. We have a foster boy, Jeremiah, and my son Morris lives with us. And my wife has a daughter, and she has two children, so we have 2 grandchildren as well. So life has definitely gone in a lot of different directions, and eventually we're able to make a difference in some other children's lives, like Milton Hershey made a difference in mine. And I think it really came from the faith that I had in the Lord and when I became saved, because then my fear went away. I wasn't afraid. And matter of fact, I lived in my car, and I was homeless, and I grew up in sort of an orphanage, so I didn't feel like I had a lot to lose, and because I had my faith, I wasn't afraid. And I learned something, and I've actually taught about this to some people, that I call passion, fear, whine list. Passion, you have to have passion for something. And if you're passionate about it, whatever that might be, you're going to do it to the best of your ability, and you're going to get rewarded for it. And so passion, not being afraid. Passion, fear, don't be afraid. A lot of things that we want to accomplish in life, we don't, because we're afraid. We're afraid of taking a risk. We're afraid of the consequences of some of the things that we're wanting to do because, of notions that we have from being taught or whatever. But again, being faithful and believing in the Lord, your fear level should be going down, and that's what it was for me. And then passion, fear, whine. Whine not as in the glass of wine that you're drinking, but whine as in, whining, complaining. Nobody likes to hear your whining, and nobody likes to hear your complaining. So I always said, if I stay away from that, if I stay away from the negativity and the complaining and the people that are complaining, that I can redirect my energy and focus towards things that are positive, and I can accomplish more. And so passion, fear, whine, and lastly is list. It sounds silly, and my wife gets on me a little bit about it because I like lists, and I think that with lists you become organized. And the list is simply a mechanism to be organized. You can organize yourself any way you want. It doesn't have to be a list, but I say passion for your wine list, because I think the act of having a list and crossing things off that list helps you to see progress and helps you to see that you're making progress towards whatever it is that you're trying to persevere through or to. And so, I was one of those guys that just was not a good guy, involved in a lot of bad things, came to Christ, and he changed my whole life. And I owe everything to him. And so my success is only because God came and saved me from the situation I was in.